Hi, Trent. Good afternoon to you. So today we have, so far we have Daniel, we have Mark, Warren, Trent, and Kelly just joined us. Hi, Kelly.
Hello.
Welcome to the class.
Yay.
And Mark, how is your practice coming along with the search queries so far? You're doing all right?
I'm doing okay. I did have one question, which in regards to the all-in title. I did this search for all-in title from page 186 in the training guide. I believe it was figure 1610. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't 1610, but there's a note there that says all-in title will not work if you expand the query with the OR operator. Being, it would be null. When I ran the search all-in title internet research specialist or web search specialist, I actually returned results. So I'm kind of
I understand, but I want you to just notice one thing when you got the results. Just look at the part that is the first term you have put next to the first instance of all-in title. That would start to give you the results, and it would not consider what you have put after the OR sign on the right. So if there's another instance of all-in title after the OR, just observe if that part is also entertained or it is actually considered by the search.
Okay.
So what it would do is that it would just take into account the first part, the first instance of all-in title, and it would ignore what is after OR. That's how it should respond. So if you would just try that, and if you feel that that part is not what I'm explaining, then definitely you can come back and you can you can tell me if it worked or not, or if it happened the way I've explained it. So that is the situation with all instances of all that you use with the in-text and also with all-in URL, because all is considered an absolute command in the sense of it's delivering you results that would not work with another instance of an absolute command of all, as if you are asking the all, which is in effect is saying that whatever is on the right of it should appear. So if you have two instances of OR all-in title, it sort of starts to conflict in the sense of the idea for which all is applied. So that's why it is going to consider one part and it would ignore the other. And this is the reason why you're getting the results, still getting the results.
Okay, I'll try it again.
Yeah, you can try it. If you still have a problem, you can then bring it in the class. I'll look it up, or you just send me an email, tell me, and I'll do it. Because right now we have to move fast. It seems that we are behind, so I'm just going to do it rapidly. And then at the end of the lesson itself, which is revolving around a topic, unless we finish that, we won't take the question, so that at least I can get this part out of the way, and then you would have a better concept. You may want to restructure your question. That would give you a lot more or a better sense of what is going on. So I'm going to start with, or basically continue with in URL. We couldn't complete it the other day. let's see. So I have actually pulled some of the search queries, which I have mentioned here in this notepad, and I've already placed it in your inbox, in your Dropbox. But then as we do more queries, I'll just I'll just replace it with what's there already. And if any of these queries we can't finish, you can try it if you'd like. Think of it as a assignment. If that is, if I don't finish these. Now I wanted to continue with the in URL from the other day. So typically, you see what happens with in URL is that it sort of pulls and basically matches your query words that exist in the path of that URL itself. And if you have a sense or somehow you have an idea of what could be the essential elements that apparently are typically mentioned in the URLs, like dates are mentioned, categories, the type of information, because you see that URL is a set of instructions which creates folders and files and so on, and it kind of leads the search towards the landing page or the page that has a title you're searching for. So in other words, it contains the genetics or the entire information of keywords that can be utilized, or we can do some quick searches to get onto that specific area of that website or those web pages. For instance, if it is groups that you are searching, it would have in the URL the word groups or a singular group. And if it is a forum, it would say forum there. If it is a blog, an article, it'll just specify the article. If it is a section of a search within certain URLs that typically have those sections as if they're categorized, especially the top navigation part on the URLs on every website has the main navigations, like if it is news agency, it would have international edition, words like technology, entertainment, and so on. So those words will always be there in the URLs, especially in the first navigation parts. So you can utilize that information with the in URL to direct your search on those pages that has in their directories or folders these words, or these words denote that that specific folder needs to be queried. The other thing that is usually there, like I mentioned, is the dates, like, especially in the case of articles. All news agencies put in the links the dates, but we don't remember the convention that they have used in placing those dates in the URL. Sometimes it's the year first, and then there is another backslash with the day, and then another backslash with the month. So that orientation can be different. So the best bet is just to use the year. At least if you are not sure what is the convention those sites are using. But if you know of a site, let's say if you know CNN.com, if you browse through it and you found that up there in the address bar, the links has a structure of the dates, you can actually incorporate that structure in your in URL operator. So it is basically going to start to search all those pieces of information. As I mentioned, and I'm repeating this again, is that if the words that you have placed next to the in URL are such that they don't exist, or they are in singulars or plurals, or they don't match exactly, that content page may not be queried, or you may just lose that opportunity to find that page. So it is very finicky about the wordings that you use next to the in URL right after the colon sign. So that's just the theoretical part. Now let's just see how the URLs function. And some of the queries that I pulled from our lessons here, I've listed it in the notepad, and I will start revealing them and putting them in the search to give you an idea of how this works. I would rather start with the second one. Let's just call it 2, query 2. And right now I'm trying to query, as you could see, the word LinkedIn. By the way, because in URL is a textual search, purely textual in the sense that it is going to entertain the words or the matching of how you construct it, including with the .com or without it, wouldn't matter really. It is not a site operator. Site is obviously ensuring that you use the the website, the entire address of the website or name, along with the extension, which could be .com, .edu, or whatever it may be. So between site and in URL, the distinction is that in URL, you can put the word and it would still find it. And that means that it would find links that has the word LinkedIn in it. All right. So right now I have used this search where I'm instructing the search for to look for the word LinkedIn in the URL. And I have also used another instance of in URL with the word market research within quotation marks. And then the third instance of in URL again with the word UK, which is, the type of link that belongs to or somehow is defaulting to United Kingdom. And that means it is a localized search or something that you want to find in UK, not in US. So that's why I've put the word UK. Why UK is there is because I have looked at LinkedIn. I'm familiar with the links, and I found that for someone to go to a site from, say, US to UK, instead of using the VPN, you know what VPN is. It just basically simulates as if you are browsing from another location or another country. So instead of using the VPN, I could just put the word UK in it, because the links, when you look at them with the search in United Kingdom, the LinkedIn URLs would default or change. So it somehow has a word UK in it. So this is the reason why I've used UK. If I had removed in URL, the second instance, what would happen? What I am instructing now the search is to look for in URL the word LinkedIn, but the word market research or this term is not necessarily, or it's not asking the search to look for inside of URL. So market research can be found in the title or the description part of that content page. But I am querying the URLs right now, and I'm assuming that there would be the word market research somehow found in the URL, so that this search is going to default basically onto a set of URLs that are bringing me a section or an area that is inside of the link with the word market research in it. And at the same time, another instance of in URL will bring me results from UK. So I'm going to copy this and I will run it in the browser and see what happens. So we've got the link from LinkedIn and it is coming from UK. It has the word market research and it is showing me a section in the jobs area, which is basically identifying or talking about the jobs. However, supposing it's not the jobs I'm looking for, or I'm looking for something other than jobs, then all I have to do is put, see, right now it's got the word jobs in it. Supposing I don't want the job section but something else, so I'm going to put a minus sign, and from the URL I will remove the word jobs, see what comes out. At least from the links, the word jobs is been taken out. Now, what brings this result is separate from the results that you're seeing right here. Just so you know, okay? We are only querying these snippets, and the snippets have removed the word jobs, which was there before. So in the snippet, the links part is not showing the word jobs anymore. And if I remove this and bring it back to what I was looking for, it was from the previous query, it has the word jobs in it. There's jobs. Even this one would have jobs if I click on it. No, not necessarily jobs. I'm sorry, I'm not querying jobs. So everything else will show up. But if here I put in URL and I put the word jobs, it will specifically bring the word jobs in all of the search results. Jobs here, jobs here, jobs here, jobs here. So this is why a lot of recruiters use in URL to get to those landing pages that has job offerings, or if there is a resumes that you want to search for outside of LinkedIn, you can do that as well. And let's suppose instead of LinkedIn, I just put the word resume, and in UK URL, and not many good results from UK. So maybe what I would do, what do they say in UK? I think it's not the word resumes. They use curriculum vitae or whatever. So I'm just going to try to find resumes with the market research in URL UK and then jobs. So what I would do is put resume here and then put an or sign and then use curriculum YT. I'm just looking for resumes. I shouldn't be putting the word jobs. And so I got in UK market research manager resume. market research resume, and it's all coming from UK. So this is a better query because jobs could have a what we call the false positive, which means that if I'm looking for job, or if there is jobs available that I'm searching for, then I would use the word jobs. But if I'm trying to find the resumes, which means that I'm hiring someone, so I shouldn't be using the word job or jobs. That's why I removed it. And now I see that with resume or resumes in URL, I was able to find market research jobs in UK, okay, from all these sites. And another query, I can also write the same query as into with LinkedIn and .com. It would still take it because now this has become one term that the search is going to look for and match in LinkedIn.com site. But my suggestion, if you're using in URL, it's better not to put .com instead. Still better just to confine your search to a site colon so that it restricts to that particular website. However, this should also work because it is going to match everything after the colon sign, because there is no gaps between the dot and com, and therefore it should be workable. So we've got results coming from uk.linkedin.com. Same way in France, there could be jobs available there as well. So let's suppose that there is a, I don't know what the abbreviation is. I think it's FR. Let me try that and let's see what happens. I'm getting my results. So I'm getting it from France, seems like. Okay. Another thing that we can do in URL is that we can put the year. Like if we want to find the latest information on market research from LinkedIn that has to do with 2021. When I'm using the year 2021, this date has to exist in the links coming from LinkedIn.com. If that is not the case, and I don't remember if the dates are there in the links, I would rather just get rid of LinkedIn.com totally and then just put 2021. Anyway, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Because this is not the convention, like they are not putting the year in their links. Besides being a social media, it is closed. That means not all information is indexed by the search. So whatever is considered public will be pulled and indexed. Otherwise, it won't show up. So the best thing to do if you're looking for market research in France, somewhere in the URL, and you put the date 2021, it should bring you the results. So we've got the dates in here generally. So it is market research services that came about. Now, if I go back and I put UK here and I put again in URL jobs or job, I can even put a single term here. I don't have to put in URL in the second instance, but it becomes flaky. So normally, just to ensure that I'm comparing apples with apples as the rule dictates for OR, I should have put in URL as a second option for the or to function. So generally, this is how it should be. However, it does work with jobs, but it might be flaky. However, let's just run this one and see what comes out. Market research field interviewer jobs. See, a lot of jobs just started coming up. Okay. Now, another thing for the jobs that I could do, which could work really well, is if I just remove the restriction in URL like this, and I put, let's say I'm looking for jobs in Florida. So I would then create in URL and try it out and see if Florida is a term that will exist somewhere in the links. Let's try this. Optician jobs openings. So there could be market research jobs if you click on them. Again, we've got the year job openings in Florida, but these aren't as many results as I would expect. So I will then start to make some changes here. That means that for this part, everything is functioning to query the URL. However, I can also add another operator to this so that whatever is found based on the entire query set on left, let's call it set A, and then I want to create a set B, which would dictate that the URLs would have all these elements, but the content pages that I'm querying, let's say if I put in text here and I use the word Florida, it should deal with this as a second set B, even though it is the same query, but just for explaining, I'm just making it set B, and let's just call it set A. Oh, what did I do? Sorry, I have to correct this. I made a mistake here in URL. So when I did that, I was able to find market research analyst job openings, vacancies. And if I click on it, it should somehow has on this page the word Florida. This is a forwarded site. Okay. See these links? These are forwarding sites. I'm going to use the one that looks, see, these are all forwarding sites. This is the problem. They have, the SEO guys have really messed up. They've vandalized literally. So let's use the link that makes sense, okay? Let me just look at this link to see where it's going to take me. See, all these sites are ranked very high in the SERPs, and they're all forwarded sites. Okay. So you have to watch out for these forwarding sites, and these are only done by marketing people, bringing and eventually the search engine knows that they're doing something that's not regular, and they will be taken off sooner or later. So the link has the word job, except that here the word job is used to identify the title of an article. If it is just the job or the availability of opportunity that you're looking for, then look, it's the same thing happening. See this? It's forwarding all those links. It's a nuisance. Let's just use access. Basically, see these ones that are named weird, these are all forwarded. Again, anyway, I just showed you that you can use multiple operators, especially in text, because what in text is going to do is find the term on the page or whatever the web page turns up. You will find along with in URL, you can restrict the in text or the content to reflect something that is in Texas. And another thing is 32835 is the zip code. Let me try a zip code. Maybe I'm using the wrong zip codes. I don't know. I don't remember the zip codes. 32835. I know there is one that's a 32835. I'm going to force it. Maybe I don't remember the zip codes. Any zip codes that you know of? Okay, we have to keep moving. This we have done. This is the same as 3, so let's not worry about it. Just 4. This one I've used in URL linkedin.com. In text, I've used market research, and in URL UK, in URL jobs. It's just showing you how we can mix the in text with in URL. Works really well. So it found something in LinkedIn. If I click on it, I don't know if I'm logged into LinkedIn or not. I think it'll ask me to log in first. Anyway, it found the jobs with the word jobs in the link, and in URL also complied to the linkedin.com. That's what we inserted. And then the market research jobs came in the URL. However, the text portion of it will have everything that talks about market research. And invariably, like if you keep scrolling, it'll give you a deeper search opportunity. And not that we have used market research in the URL part, but because we have used it as if it is responding to in text, then all these wordings you could see on the page contains the word market research in it. So that's another usefulness of this. There is situation when we have to look for articles some sort that exists, and some of the details I've put in, which some of these are incorrect, and we will figure out what could be incorrect. So here I'm looking for the landing page that has a title, Hidden World of the Darknet. And then Jasmine Henry could be the author. The in URL should have a section that says articles in it. So let's see if I can find this by using this search. Seven ways the hidden world of the darknet is evolving. Okay. So in the link, there is a word article. By the way, search engine is now put these three dots. If you click on, it just opens up more detail or gives you the entire link. So the link itself says articles, Jasmine Henry. Okay, where is it? It is revealing, but it is still, in the beta stage. So, they're still improving on it. But let's just click on this and see what came about. So we have the word articles in it. Hidden world of the darknet. These words are there. And if for any reason let's say, change any of these words, like let's suppose I just do this one. Instead of articles, I just, as a plural, I wrote a singular. What's going to happen? See, this result came when I used it as a plural. And here in the link, it says LES, which is the plural format of the word article. So what will happen if I go like this in using in URL? No results come. That's because we have to ensure that whatever the words they use against or right next to the colon within URL has to be perfectly accurate. So just by missing out the S, I couldn't find the article. Okay. The date, June 28th, it was there, so it was easy to find. Now, supposing I have to find a bunch of articles that has to do with this statement or something to do with hidden world of the darknet, and I want to create another search query. And I put in just 2019 here. Should still be able to find it. Yes, because 2019 is part of the link URL. It's not showing, but it will be there when I click on it. So let's see, 2019. 2019 is there. And because I didn't put 2019 in URL and I left it outside of or didn't place it right next to the colon, this part is considered a search that could find any of these words or any of these, including the year on the content page or the title or wherever it exists. But if I confined it to in URL with 2019 and the word to and the year 2019 is not in any of the URLs that has this wording or has any relationship with articles, the search wouldn't work. So let me try this. Nothing comes out. So when in URL you're not sure of a word or the year you're not sure of, don't put it there, or if you put it, don't put the in URL. Just use it, or just leave it like this, the way I've set right now. It's like as if it is querying all these words. But what is considered mandatory for it to ensure that the information is found inside of a link that has a section of articles. So confining it to the article itself, or ensuring that it is the article you're looking for, you're going to put the word articles or article in it. At the same time, if let's say I want to look for a blog, let's look at another example. I don't have any other example, but let's say this was blog or in URL blogs, because I don't want to miss out on any of these type of blogs or anything I'm looking for that has singular or plural, and I make a mistake. So I'd rather just use the or sign. And then I'm going to get rid of this and look at the common topics that could exist somewhere in the blogs. I feel that world of darknet would be easy to find, or supposing if I don't know if this is the right title, I'll leave it outside of the quotation mark. So it can combine the words on its own and make my search flexible. However, it's going to turn up the snippets that are in the shape of blogs, or those links would lead you to a blog. Let me try this. If these words exist somewhere in the blogs, it will show up. So surely I was able to find all of these as blogs. So all these information or these titles, if you click on them, it would take you to a section that is revealing the information in the shape of, or it is structured as a blog rather than rather than article or any other format. Now, at the same time, I can even change it to news. So if I say news here, I'll get everything coming from the news agencies, because news agencies all have in their folders the word blog somewhere. As they give you as a user, they allow you to make selections. It could be news, blogs, articles, and so on. So let's suppose news is something that we look for. Hidden world of the darknet is anything that has information about darknet with a combination of words. Even a single word would be entertained, or if there is a subject, something that has all these words together, but because I don't remember it, and if I try it, it'll look for exact words in the news section somewhere. And let me try to find it. So I did find something here that talked about or had a title, Hidden World of Darknet. At the same time, for now, because I'm not sure about the title, I'm going to also introduce another thing which would give me the latest version of articles, let's say in year 2021. And then where I've used in URL news, I'm assuming that in URL in the news area, there could be what other thing that I can put in the news? Let's say technology. So that could be another folder within news section, assuming that I have a fairly good idea of how the URLs are structured. So let's suppose news is the main area and technology is a section in news. And I'm looking for any of these words. And in URL, I want the year 2021 mentioned. So let me try this. I was able to get a news from Reuters in 2021. All of these would be coming from 2021, all these news. And let's do one more restrictor. Now, let's suppose I want the news to be returned within a date range, okay? So let's suppose I use another operator, which I'm going to introduce right now. It's a date range. It's called before colon and after colon. Before colon means that you can, in fact, let me run this slide, which I don't want to get lost with this. So I'm at 130 right now. Slide 130. And I want to go back and show you how the date ranges are arranged. I think this is the one. Now, in the same query or any query that you're going to build, with the exception of all in title or anything that has all in it, you can pretty much use after and before as a date range. And the way it works is that it has these examples, first of all, to look at, let's say, Avengers Endgame. This is maybe a video game of some sort, but let's suppose the version I'm looking for is an old one. So I'm going to put Avengers Endgame, and after that use the operator before with the colon sign and the year 2019. So it could be any year before 2019, okay? However, if I want to be more precise on setting the dates or putting the dates, which includes the day and the month, then I can use, for example, after, which is after a certain date. Let me just do some changes here, okay? I'm going to copy these just for a minute and show you how the date ranges can vary. So that concept is cleared. Once you get the date thing settled, we will start incorporating it in the in URL. In URL is mostly used in finding news, information in blogs, in forums, groups, social media accounts. So it is really a very important, operators when you have to define a certain type of information or source needs to be identified. And at the same time, the restrictor that you want to apply mostly has to be the date or the date range. So that's why we're going to do the date range right now, and then I'm going to apply it in the URL. Supposing I copied this one, and see in the slides, they don't show a lot of variations, and it is not something that I can be changing on the fly to explain things. So I have to put it down over here, and then I will show you what are the different ways in which we can apply this. Just give me a moment. Let's call it 1. Call it 2. So the first one, I want you to know that when you do before, you can also put before the day. Let's suppose it is 04-01. So you've got the date, precise date. So anything that is before the 4th month and before the first day of the 4th month is going to show up, which has everything or all the links or those pages that has the word Avengers Endgame in it. And it won't bring any results that goes after the April 1st, 2019. So this is the way that you can do the restrictor. However, if you don't remember the convention, or if you don't remember any of these elements, like you don't remember the month or you don't remember the day, don't put the asterisk. Like you can't use a wildcard over here. I've shown you the example where you can use wildcards, those examples are important for you so you can distinguish where the asterisk may not work. So when you're using before and after, if you don't remember any of these, the day or year or a month, don't put the asterisk. So you have to know the date, or you have to have an idea of when you actually are looking for something. So this is where we have to be careful. Now, the next thing is after. So if I want to create a date range between a period, or create a period of dates to bring the result within those certain parameters of the date, I'm going to use after, let's say 2019-3-01, and I can do before 2019. So you can tell that I'm looking for something within a month or days, basically, which says that it has to be within 4 days, like after the 1st of March and before the 5th of March. So it makes it more precise. At the same time, I could also do like this, like I can just get rid of the rest of these day and month, and just use the year before before 2021. So I'm just looking for something in the year 2020, or if it was 2018, then it is a after 2018 means it's going to be 2019, 2020, but not 2021. So for the 2 years, that period is going to be the one that's going to effectively bring me the results for Avengers Endgame. But this is not exactly what I'm going to use it for. As an example, I would rather use it with the in URL for now, because that is what we are dealing with. So what was the so this is what we were working on. So I wanted to go to the news, the technology section, hidden world of the darknet, and here I'm going to put the date. Let's say before, if I use 2020, let's see what it's going to do. And let's just look at the dates. Right now I have 2021. So I'll get the dates that has the word darknet somewhere on these pages. We are not going to look for these words. We are more concerned with how we are going to, I mean, for sure, you will have any combination of these words when you click on it. So the page would have it, but the idea here is for you to get introduced to the before and after operator. So when I use before 2020, the results will show that they're coming from any dates that are before 2020. So 2019, 2014, 2017, none of these will show up anything that is in the shape of news within the technology section, having the words darknet that are in 2020 or after 2020. So this is going to ensure that. Now, if I have to create a date range here, I have to use a convention, which means that it has to have the year first, followed by the month. So if I put the month, let's say 05, so May 10th, 2020. And if I want to put after 2017, so 20th May 2017, and before 2020 May, the day is the 10th day of May. So let's suppose that this is the parameter we are giving. Let's try this. So remember the dates. Let me copy and paste it first. So let's look at the dates. It is after 2019, but before 2020. See, this is June 2019. This is July 2017. That means it is not the 5th month, it is the 7th month. This one right here, and so on. So this is a precision search at its best when you're looking for articles, and there could be so many different variants. Now, supposing I want to make sure that these wordings are somewhere in the title. If I use in title along with URL, I am instructing the search to find something that has a page with these wordings in it. I have not enclosed these wordings within quotes because I don't quite remember, how the phrase is set. So I just don't want to put something that's not going to work. So I've left it open. So in the title part, let's look at it and try it. It took the word hidden history. It took the word hidden because it's very common. So let's suppose I want to restrict it a little bit. How do you normally write darknet? Is it one word or is it like 2 words? If I'm not sure of it, I'm just going to leave it outside of the quotes. For hidden world, I want these two to appear together in the title part. 2 words. Okay. So let's just say it is darknet, or I put like this. Let's try it. It's saying it's darknet. So let's just leave it like that and see what it does. It doesn't have anything that talks about that says hidden word. So let's just use the word darknet in here and not worry about, because we don't know exactly how it is phrased. So I'm just going to use the word darknet to appear in the title. Now it is showing me results. The word darknet is going to appear in all of these. And in the URL, you would see that the word news and technology is there. So what you have queried is the news section, and within news section of BBC, you were able to find the technology area. And in technology, you found something that is now has a restrictor of date range. And at the same time, in the title part, you want to make sure that the title tag of those pages that are showing up has the word darknet in it. Okay. So that's how you're going to construct your queries. If there is anything else that I can think of. Okay. I see. Okay. After this, we're going to do searches in the forum and then do some searches in the blogs, in the news agencies, and then look at some of the links structure to figure out how they are set typically. And, you know, if there is a way for us to extract an information that is hidden or is it's not indexed, there is a no follow link. There is a kind of link which the search engine would not pick up only because it is instructed by the site owners that certain pages it is not allowing for search to actually index it on its site. So when this happens, there is a barrier or there is a sort of a restriction which may be very difficult for you to go over and go behind to find those pages that are hidden. And then, you know, there could be a reason for those pages to still exist, or you could say that they might have been indexed earlier by the search engine before the no follow links were introduced or before the no follow condition was implemented. So there is always a likelihood or a loop for you to be able to go over that and get to the search and ask it to reveal some cached pages from earlier days. And that sort of is a workaround sometimes, but it is a trial and error. However, it works in certain situations. So we'll discuss that after we have had a little bit of proficiency in using in URL and the concept is gelling properly, then we will go to that. So let's just take a break right now, and I will return and continue with this. I guess we are sort of getting into the zone of complex search queries while we were doing in URL. I'm also implementing some of the mixes of other operators to bring the complexities to your attention. And similarly, whatever queries we do after the break, they would have different flavors to it. They will sort of become situational queries, and we will, you know, at that point, I will also ask you that if there is a situation which you feel that in your case or in your profession and for your needs, would require for you to learn a little bit more on that side to find certain specific information sets, you would tell me, and then we will use it as a reference or something that can be shared with the rest of the class. So if you would like to spend like next, let's just take 10 minutes. You want to create something that you can relate to or for which I can work with you in what the way that I've expressed that I'd like to share. And if you're willing to share it, then we'll return and attempt that also. So let's take 5 minutes. I'll take a question. I think which mail for questions. Daniel is asking me. So my email, I don't know if you have it. In fact, you should have it in the email that you got, but I'm just going to write it down again and putting it in the chat. If you want to send a direct question to me, you can use my email naveedm@aofirs.org. All right. coming back to the same question I've asked before, any one of you, if you have any questions, if any particular search that you are interested in, I guess with reference to what we are doing right now, mostly with in URLs, maybe you can ask, or even if it isn't anything to do with in URL, just give me a situation or give me a search, any search, if you'd like. Because this is the time when we will be doing a lot of queries, and we'll be dealing with complex queries, and you're already familiar with the most important guess operators. So we can look at how we can now build something something complex for you. So Warren, Trent, Eliza, Victoria, or Vicky, I guess Vicky there. Vicky is online. So how about you, Daniel? Anything that you have in mind that I can look for? Okay. Search in a forum. So if I have to look for something in any forums, like any subject or topic that's being discussed, or specifically going to a forum site and to find something that has to do with, let's say, textual search, and I have restricted this search to msdn.microsoft.com. So you know that if we have to use the site operator, we can always insert a subdomain. So instead of writing microsoft.com, I've put msdn.microsoft, and I've used the word forum that should be in the URL. Let me try this first and see if we can find any information on textual search. So msdn.microsoft.com is there, and there could be questions and support that's talking about textual search. This can work fine. I can also look at, see, this is showing forum. So even if I remove MSDN and just use forum, let's see what's going to happen. Still going to give me the results because the word forum is there in the URL somewhere. They're not showing the entire URLs, but when you click on it, you will definitely find the word forum. Let me just see. Here it is, forums. And a lot of times you want to go to any forum that is talking about textual search. So to see where the discussion is happening on textual search, I could just make it simple. Just put the word in URL forum and textual search in it. So it is defaulted to forums. For sure, whatever information you will find on the subject of textual search will be coming from those pages that has the word forum in it. Or in other words, it will take you to a section which is to do with the forums or the site that has taken you now to the forums directly. Now I'm going to do another search here, looking for products. So supposing if we had to look for Nikon camera, 24 to 36 megapixels, and the price range I want to be around is between $800 to $1,200. So how would I search for it using in URL? There are two searches here, but let's start with this one. And it says that in URL, I want something that says camera or cameras. But in text or in that page where the section says cameras and those pages are showing up, you want that text part or the content, because normally individually, I don't know exactly how the word Nikon with cameras and all that is described in the URL. So I want to play safe. I would just use in text rather to ensure that it's talking about Nikon camera. And on that content page in the camera section, I'm looking for 24 to 36 megapixel. And what I've added here is a very powerful query notations. These are basically similar to, how we have a date range. We could create a range between two terms, one on the left, one on the right, with the two dots in between. So a range of a price is now showing. This range is for the price only because I put the $sign in it, but it would, it's always best to put the $sign, even though you could just put the figure or the numerics like 800 to 1200, but because $sign and the amounts are usually connected together without any gaps in between, so it is better to use it as a single term. Otherwise you would miss it out. Like if it was like this, it probably wouldn't know if it is the money you're looking for in terms of price range. And because it is written without any gaps and the $sign is attached to the amount, so you would instead use the $sign for the price range. So when I do this, I get a result that looks like this was the one. So if I clicked on it, it's going to show me the camera with the price range. And those price ranges would vary because on this page, when you click on it, it would give you anything between 800 to 1200 plus other items are also revealed on that page. But that doesn't mean that the price range is not going to be there for this brand of camera or bit for the 24 to whatever the 36 pixel camera. That is what we are looking for. So where is the price?
Look for it.
Let's do the next one. Let's go to Amazon. It's better because it will have the prices. So we've got 899 up and up. So it's going to start with 899 and not 800. The camera is 24.3, meaning that it could be between 24 to 36 pixel also. So there could be other varieties that are shown down here. So they will all be listed. And if we look at the price again, it's to between $800 to $1,200. So you will find other prices also, but because it is not strictly looking as this range, but it's starting with $749.95, and these are, separate from the one that is being displayed. What will turn up is the one that is displayed at the top. This is where your price range is going to strike. Not anything under here, because this is a separate code they've put in, which is a dynamic code, and we are looking at static code. This is static HTML. This is dynamically done, so it could have different amounts and different cameras would show up. And let's suppose we go a step further and we say, and we create another search query, which I'm going to bring up now, query number 2. Again, the same in URL, I want camera or cameras, in text, Nikon, everything is the same, but at the same time, I want the search to look for this in 3 different sites, or it should be confined to or restricted to the results that's showing up from these 3 sites, Best Buy, Amazon, and eBay. See, I've used site colon ebay.com, again site colon amazon.com. You don't put the or sign to look for the terms when you come or you look for something that is placed in a with a different let's say operators, or the way that you have arranged them has to fall one next to another. So the or here and the next one over here, they all have to make sure that all 3 variants, which is using site operator, are using the advanced operator site. In other words, I won't be able to search something doing or making it look like this. Or if I do use amazon.com, I would just have to get rid of the word site totally from here. Okay, so that I'm comparing it equally as terms and not a restrictor of site, or not something that is exclusively connecting it to particular websites. But since I want the websites to be showing any of these, all 3 of them, or at least one of the 3, so I have used the site operator in all 3 instances. And when I use this in the search, where was my search? I think, yeah, this is the one. This is exactly what I have searched. So when I click on this, I do get results from Amazon, mostly because it's more popular. It has a lot of people looking for cameras that is 24 pixels and plus. So you could see the amounts also 855. If you click on this, the page will take you to a price range that starts with 800 or around 800. By the way, whenever you're using a price range or whatever range in numbers, could be zip codes, whatever it may be, the 2 dots that you put in between means that it is going to round off the figures on the left and on the right. So if it is, let's say 799.95, it may be considered as 790.95 or 800 precisely, and you can also assume that it is going to do a round off. That is another function of it. So when it is 99.95, it might just turn it into the full, full numerics, which is without the fractions. So that's, just for your information. And for now, I'm looking at the results to find if eBay is also showing along with Amazon and as well as the Best Buy. So let's see. I just did this search while we were on the break, and it did show me Best Buy somewhere. Here is eBay, another eBay. Here is Best Buy, but nothing other than Amazon.com, Best Buy, or eBay is going to turn up. So if we have to exclude, let's say Amazon from here, then I'm going to pull this out from the or option, because as I said, whenever you're using or, you compare apples with apples. Now, in the next instance, if I put a minus sign here without using an or, and I put minus site amazon.com. Let's see what it's going to do. It has eliminated the amazon.com, and it is just bringing results from eBay and Best Buy. Best Buy, eBay, and Amazon is, it's not bringing results from amazon.com. But you saw what I did. I'm not going to do like this. This is not going to work. This is not going to work. Whenever I'm using or with the minus or eliminating something, you don't go like this. But there is an or instance that you can use when you're using or only in situations. For example, if we don't want, generally there is no requirement for or when you're using a minus sign. Minus sign means you are saying that don't bring that specific result, or those words or anything that is coming from the site should not be brought from certain domains. So you don't really need the or sign. Like, what is the point of using or here and using or here? We are saying here to not bring this or not bring this. I mean, we have to be sure of what we don't want to be brought. So logically, it makes sense if you just, use the minus sign and not the or sign here, even though it would work, but there is no logical sense of doing it. Minus means it is absolute that you don't want something to be discovered. So that's why this is the way we have set the query, where we don't want anything to come from amazon.com. So let me just copy this also and put it in your notes. Now, this is a typical URL that usually has, or it has certain attributes or certain type of information which is usually found in the link. The domain is there, the date, see how the date convention is. It's now written as 2016 /December /. So this kind of is the way that some of the links are set. Nothing we can do about it, except that we have to know that the words we are using is exactly the same, and the date set is set in a way that it could be recognized, or it can be discovered as a replica or exact mirror image. So if I know that politifact.com has a link that has these different folders and different wordings used, I would know that an article would have something similar, or whatever the landing page or the name of the article is can be discovered by writing the date within URL in this fashion or in this way. So I would then, if I have to look for an article in the politifact.com website, knowing that the word article is there, I would put article right next to the in URL. And in the second instance, I could actually just copy this, or know that this is how the date is set. I can put it within quotation marks, or even without quotes, it should work. However, right now I've put it within quotes. See, if there is no gap between the / and the year, for instance, over here, and even with the month December, there is no gap. It is assumed to be one search term. So there is no necessity to put the quotation marks. But let's try it this way, because this is how the query is set, and the word fake news is coming from here. But on the other hand, if we were doing all in URL, what would happen is that all in URL would mean that I'm going to create another one below this to see how the all-in URL would function, so that you can sort of get an idea of how it might be different using it as a command that is not as advantageous in certain situations. So supposing I converted in URL into all in URL, and let's see what is going to happen. This all in URL will work fine because here you have mentioned the fake news, you've mentioned this is there, you've mentioned the word article. So in this case, all in URL would work fine. But if you had words that are somewhat connected, see, the advantage of in URL is that you can apply different instances of it without creating any confusion with how these words may be connected. So if there were other words that might be fake news, what else? Let's say I'm going to compare these two. So I'm going to do the first one first. I got the results. I got the date, that's 13th of December, only because I used it correctly. But if I did not use the same convention, like I used, let's suppose, dash, then I used another dash, and I used 03, what's going to happen? Nothing will come up. So this is the only drawback. It has to be precise. And the results came out okay. What was it? Okay, sorry. Now what did I do? It was working fine just now. Okay, so this is 13. I apologize. Now, if I do so if let's suppose if I've used any of the words here that are not in the link, then it will fail. But if I'm using in URL instead, and I'm saying in URL, what else was there in the politic fact? Truth. Any word in URL that is incorrect is not going to show up. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that whenever in the URL, the words you're not sure of or you're using incorrect words, it's always best to don't use within URL the words that you don't quite remember. However, what you can do is use the or sign and remove the in URL. and it's going to find the word truth. I'm sorry, I don't mean to enforce it, so I'm just going to go like this. Right. Oh, sorry. Yeah, with in URL, see, it's not going to work. That's what I wanted to show you. Now I'm going to remove all from here, and let's see what it's going to do. It's going to return the result. So whenever we are doing all URL versus in URL, we are not unable to use or we are not able to make it more flexible. So where all is not going to work, in URL works. That's why we always use in URL instead of all in URL. So if I didn't know if these words exist, I won't really put it with all in URL here, because all means everything on the right has to be found. Okay, otherwise it's not going to function. But when you are doing in URL and you're using the same wordings that you don't remember, like forensic tools, for instance, it would still allow for the OR to function and find different variants of it. So it makes it more flexible. So where all in URL won't work, the in URL will work really nicely. This is the reason or the difference why we prefer to use in URL instead of all in URL. Is this making sense? It's a lot of information. So I guess I have a question. Yes, Daniel, not exclude Amazon and others. Not exclude. Okay. Got a couple of questions. Open up your mic, Daniel, so we can hear you out.
Yes, I got a couple of questions and I sent it in the mail.
If you send it in the mail, then I guess I'll see it when I look at the look in the mail. You want me to open it and check it now?
I don't know. I don't know. Just
No, I mean, is it the questions that has to do with what we are doing right now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then maybe it's worth looking up. Okay? So I'm opened up my inbox and I see that you have 2 questions apparently. First of all, the question you've asked is about .html. I would love to answer this, but I want to know the objective of this question first. How would it help you to know an answer to this question, which you says is what Daniel is asking is why certain URLs have .html and others don't.
Yes.
I just want to learn what significance would it have in your search or the ability to do the search using search operators.
It's because if I use this extension, I will create a problem because I suppose everything in the web would end with this extension, but maybe not. So I'm not sure if I could use this extension when I am using.
Let me answer it in another way, because let's make it relevant for everyone. Okay, so if we have to find the HTML pages, HTML extension, it's an extension first of all. So remember that certain links in HTML are masked. Invariably, you could find that most of the websites are now bringing the other links, which is in the shape of breadcrumbs. Okay, let's assume that you are looking for HTML page, which is what are found mostly or indexed mostly or searched mostly. Okay, so because the websites are made from HTML. So HTML is by default considered to be always there. It is as if, you know, you already have something which exists in this format. So why look for this format? That's number one. So it is by default always there.
Okay.
Second thing is, unless you are looking for a specific file format like PDF, the link that is attached to or indexed to a document that's a PDF version, that would also have an extension that wouldn't say HTML, but rather that's called the PDF extension. Okay. So what will happen with PDF is that when you are searching for specific format, PDF or PPT, whatever you're going to use, file type, but you don't necessarily go and look for file type to find HTMLs in the first place, because it is there always as a default as pages that are mostly there. What you see that is observed other than specific format of or anything other than the HTML, which could, as I mentioned to you, then you have to mention it with the file type, otherwise not. So there is no significance of you using HTML anyways. Then the other thing is that if you have to look for, let's say, file formats that does not include HTML, then it would give you XMLs, all different types of files, where you can actually create a format using file type. Let's say, first of all, I'm not even sure. This is the first time I got this question. Let's suppose I'm using textual semantic. Never even occurred to me, Daniel. You come up with questions which are fantastic, really. Sometimes I wonder why didn't I think about it. Okay. And what I do want is file type, PowerPoint, with the OR, of course. And I say HTML and PPT. So what is the significance of this? Okay, so let's suppose I do this. So I found everything that has HTML anyways, and then it has file type or it has file type PowerPoint. So it is bringing me everything that is HTML. Everything is HTML. So why would I even bother with HTML? I'm just wondering. Now, as far as you searching for something in HTML, let's suppose you want to just search everything that is in HTML. Everything is in HTML anyways.
What happened if you exclude now HTMLs?
I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see.
Let's see. All right.
It's bringing script document. So this is not a HTML format though. I mean, it is displaying in HTML, but HTML is creating a frame. Frame is not indexed. Frame is, it's a programming issue. It's a programming question. If you are a programmer, you would use HTML to create the borders or anything around it, and for the links to work with HTTPS. But when there is no extension of HTML, that means that page is inside of a frame. And see script, this one, see, it's inside of the frame. You see, this information is inside of the frame. Emerald.com, again, you will end up in non-indexable on the sites that have everything secured or behind. So you got this, and this is a search, and everything is HTML, but there should be a code inside that is not HTML. See, this is a frame. They have created a frame, which is a secure frame, and it's not HTML frame. This frame is another sort of program that is actually bringing the information from somewhere else. It is a dynamic code. It is, this information you're looking at will change. It'll be dynamic. Like the one in the middle will change. The one that will remain static is this information, the footer, and probably the header part. This will be inside the frame. That's why it doesn't say HTML or HTML.
Okay,
HTML and HTML are both the same thing, you know, it doesn't matter. So I said minus HTML. Usually when you look at how the Google has defined the function of the file type, they never tell you, or we never get to work with any sort of files that are other than HTML, because then we miss out on a lot of information. All these are links that don't have HTML in it. See, this one again, these are dynamic links. That's why I mentioned before, you have to know the difference between dynamic links. See, the one that I clicked on, I forgot which one was it. This one, see, this one is breadcrumbs. When you click on it, the actual link is starting with, see this search with a question mark in Q. Question mark means that the query is going to start from here. In other words, it is a partial information that is displayed in the frame, whereas the valuable information is hiding behind, because anything after Q and is equal to sign, all this you could see is encoded or sort of producing the kind of information which is dynamically coded with a lot of alphanumerics in it. That's why we don't use minus HTML. And what was the next question? What was this question? Can't get the difference between all in URL.
Yes.
What are these X's?
Yes,
between the quotation
yes.
marks and outside
Yes.
the quotation marks.
Yes.
See, with quotation marks, the thing is that you can add more. This is like one single search term. It's going to ensure that this search term is present, okay, in the search results, or anywhere in your content pages return. And in this one, it could be, see, this is a gap in between these two X's, which means it could be separate set of words. And this is maybe one term, and this is another one, right? That's what I'm assuming, because it's not within quotation marks. So
yes.
These two terms would be outside, meaning that these terms can exist anywhere in the URL. It could be, you know, in the main folder. Let's suppose this one is in the main, this is identifying main folder, or main wordings, or any wordings, and then this could be another set of words, but not connected together and not phrased together, you see. Yes. So yes. Why won't you know the difference between the quotations and the ones that's outside of this? Is something that you have to know, Daniel.
Yes, yes. I was considering that all. Yes. I just forget. Yes, it's clear for me right now, because I was considering all in URL. That is has to be together, but now I remember now. Yes, thank you.
So this could be another word somewhere, you know, in the path of that URL. Like these two X's could be somewhere there, and this one could also be somewhere there, but not necessarily connected together, or not necessarily phrased together as one search term. This one
Yes,
has
yes.
become one search term with the quotation marks. Okay. Let me try this one. I just want you to know the difference between using site colon versus in URL. In fact, I've explained it already. Really, it's not necessary. But anyway, this one is showing the site restricted to barnesandnoble.com. Nigel Fielding is probably the author, and in URL, I'm trying to find something that has to do with online research methods. So really, I'm trying to find a book that is written by Nigel Fielding because I'm referring to or restricting it to barnesandnoble.com. So if I do enter this Sage book online research method, so it is showing up, and in URL is Nigel Fielding. So if I click on this, it has Nigel Fielding in there. Now, what is important is what happens if I use in URL here. What could be the difference? Why would one be more important than the other? Or what could be the preferred search when you have to make a choice between using in URL and using site? Let me try this. I'll let you all go just a few minutes. This is going to be the last one we'll do. So let's see what could be the results and when these can be different if we, instead of, and I want one more. The first difference is that when I'm doing in URL, I don't have to use .com as I mentioned before, but when I'm using site, I have to mention .com.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's compare these two search results. Let's execute this. Execute the first one, and actually we got this result. Now the second one. Let me try the second one. It'll produce the same result. We've only got one result coming out. So for now, if I just make it, we are giving the same instructions. Let's see what happens. Same results. This and this has the same results. But when we are doing in URL with these, let me do the third one. I'm sorry. When I'm doing the in URL with Barnes and Noble only as a word, it gives me an advantage that any URL that is out there, which is not coming from the main website, but it is a referral link. Let's say another website has a link pointing to this book that is being sold on Barnes and Noble as an advertiser or even as an organic link somewhere or on another website, I would be able to locate that link or find that link. So this is the advantage, because now I'm not restricting it to the domain, main domain itself. I'm not asking to find me this book from Barnes and Noble only or from barnesandnoble.com website when I'm not using site :
Mhm.
within URL, I'm giving it more flexibility, saying that to find Barnes and Noble mentioned anywhere in the URL on any other platform, as well as, it is obviously not going to miss out the links that are coming from the site itself, but at the same time, it's also giving me extra bit of URLs that are staged or located somewhere else. So I'll get to know all the URLs that are out there. Okay, that is a big help for me. So let's see. This is a lame kind of an example for me to say, because unfortunately this book is only on Barnes and Noble and looks like they didn't advertise anywhere else. But let's just try something else. If I'm going to use a site, and I'll put AOFIRS, because I know this is my site, and I say okay, let's use a simple example. I got 2,800 links coming only from AOFIRS.org, which means that it is coming from my website. All of these are my website. But supposing I want to find who else is using it or pointing to or identified with CIRS certification outside of my website, or including my website, but outside as well. So I'll just put it like this. I'll do URL, and I would prefer to lose this .org because it's another restrictor. So AOFIRS, in any link that has the word CIRS certification in it, I'm assuming I'll find more results and better results. I got only 7 results. It seems like CIRS cert, but it's not that it is only coming from my site. It is also coming from Facebook. It is coming from issue. It's coming from sas.hub. And what if I do .com? I'll find more or less. Let's see. I found AOFIRS.com in URL and showing CIRS certification. If it is a word that is more common, or let's suppose is used as we have been using consistently, internet research specialist, this works really well. So if I'm using this, and I'm using .com, let's look at the results I'm getting in URL. I'll find URLs. Why? So it is coming not only, it is coming from other places like LinkedIn, Facebook. It's somewhere somebody is using it, Eventbrite, issue. But the moment I put site,
it goes like before.
then what happens that it is only going to show me the links from my own website. See, showing it from my website only. And this way I wouldn't know how many links are out there, like how many links are floating around that has the word AOFIRS.org in it. And it should produce more. If I put in URL, it should produce more. Yeah. Flipboard, Nets for all my competitor. This is a problem. See, you always click show me the omitted ones. That will bring slightly more results. Now I got 254 results, and they would be coming from different places also other than AOFIRS. online courses. I would, like I said, I would not use .org just so that I can have more variety of results coming from different places. All right. So is this clear enough? Like you understand the in URL, and you can do your own searches and you know when to use it. You also have seen different situations in which we have applied that. So what I would do is I'm going to save this and then place it in your assignment folder, and later you can play with it or you can recall what we learned so far with these. If you still have questions, you can send it to me. After we get tomorrow, we are going to learn few other operators that are very different, and most of those work in isolation. They don't work with any other operators, and they could be useful in so many different ways. So we'll discuss 4 of them: source colon, info colon, link colon, related colon, cache colon. So those are the ones that we will be discussing. Few notations. We will also learn, the use of @ hash sign to look for stuff in the social media platforms. So that would pretty much cover our complex searches. And that's where we would like to just stop at designing queries. And we'll move on to other sections of module 2. That would take 2 classes. So by Friday this week, we should finish everything on module 2. And then the week after, it's going to be the last week. We have, I think, 4 more classes. And that will cover business of research or research in business. That's module 3. And the last one would be internet law and ethics. So each one of those would take 2 hours each. And that would mean that we will end our classes by 24th of September. So following that, I'll give you the practice questions or the preparation for your finals. And that's the time when there is one more document that or anything that's left over, like recordings, or if there is any book or reference guides, all of that will become available to you after we have finished with all sessions. So thank you very much. I think we are done for the day. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask now. And if you don't have any questions, then let's call it a day. I'm going to just upload this for you. You're all set. Thank you. See you all on, tomorrow. We have a class tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow's Tuesday. See you tomorrow. Bye.